Welcome to Martini Time. It's a beautiful day here in Blackstone, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of the world. So, my wife is gone for the week, as I've told you, and today I had a recurring attack of vertigo. Well, Google says I have Meniere's disease, which is a dysfunction of the inner ear. Anyway, I just went out, so I thought I'd have a martini to clear my head. I've been pretty much spending the day in a recliner, as it's kind of like being on a cruise ship in rough water, and so I've been really reading a little and reading and meditating. So I've had a very nice day. I went out to cut some flowers just before now, and when I bent over to cut the flowers, I lurched, and I'm sure people driving by said, "There's that Ed Conley drunk again." So I quickly. So anyway, here I am, drunk again. So last night I talked about Acres of Diamonds, which was kind of like my theme when I decided to stay in Blackstone. Recounting my story a little bit, I came here in 1981 temporarily and could find no work, could find no reason for being here. My wife grew up here. She got a job, but I was doing odds and ends and whatever. But I really made no decision to stay. I got a job with the Courier Record, writing feature stories. And suddenly, when I began to write about this town, I kind of bonded with it. And something shifted, and I stopped being a wanderer and stopped thinking about where I was going to go next. I stopped thinking about over the horizon. This is it. This is it. So I began writing about the people here, Acres of Diamonds. And but I wanted to talk about a story that kind of like also was a metaphorical shape for my life. It was back when I was first married, and I think we were up in Pennsylvania at some, I can't think of the name of the town, but it was on the Delaware, and it had a lot of crafts. And I remember walking along there, and there was some walnut coffee tables, big slabs of walnut, like big slabs of steak, and they were just polished, and they were so beautiful. And there were these two fellas there making these walnut tables. Oh, I just was struck by them, and I said, kind of like, how do you start doing this? And they kind of looked at me, from their center. See, I didn't have a center. I didn't have a me. And so they looked at me from that cool interior. Well, first you find a walnut tree. Pause. And then they said, then you cut it down and let it cure for 5 years. And I said, oh, but anyway, first you find a walnut tree. It's strange how people can say things to you in moments in your life, and it's like the guru said it to you. It's like God said it to you. And it kind of like reverberates throughout your life. First you find a walnut tree. In the 70s, we lived in Amelia, and we decided we'd buy some property out in the woods and build a cabin. Oh, that sounded good. And we picked this spot because there was a walnut tree on it. Oh, I found my walnut tree. So we kind of paid a down payment on the property, and we put a trailer there, no power, no lights, dug an outhouse, we were really, and I went down to the stream, and my walnut tree was cut down. And the guy who sold it to us had come in and cut down the walnut tree. So we left. We canceled the deal. But anyway, that was just a side note. So when we came here to Blackstone, there's a huge walnut tree in this yard. And the walnuts fall from it. They're big black walnuts, about that big. And you had to build a carport because you couldn't put your car under it because it would put dents in it. So it's a big walnut tree now. It was planted here. I guess my wife grew up here. And I guess it was a young tree then. And then we have another one that sprouted. Usually they when the squirrels bury the nuts and then so then you pull them up because you don't want walnut trees all over your place. But anyway, maybe a year ago, I went down. We have a little picnic table under the pecan trees in the backyard. And the squirrels use a platform like that to open the walnuts. And there were a whole bunch of walnuts there that had been opened by a squirrel. I have them in my shop. It's a bucket full of them. And it looks like this. You see how perfectly? Isn't that amazing? Now, all the other walnuts they open are just chewed up. But for some reason, there's an intelligent squirrel out there that opens the walnuts like that. Isn't that amazing? So I've been reflecting on this, and it's a mystery to me. It's kind of like the obelisk in 2001. Remember that movie? That black obelisk appears, and the apes couldn't figure out what it was, and the astronauts couldn't figure out what it was. So whenever it appeared, it was a mystery. A mystery you couldn't crack open. A mystery you couldn't divide. A mystery you couldn't create a pair of opposites. You can't open a mystery up with analysis and cut it up into parts, you see. So this is a mystery like that. And that's why we like diamonds, because you can't cut diamonds, you see. And walnuts are really hard to cut. I mean, my daughter saved them and put them in our shed to dry, and they're still there. The squirrels are eating them. Takes a lot of work to crack a walnut, you see. It's like a diamond. It's like a diamond in your backyard. So what is a diamond in your backyard, you see? It's a mystery. You can't crack it open. You crack it open, but it's still a mystery. It's still a mystery, you see. So even though you keep dividing this, maybe if I cut this in half, I could figure it out. Maybe if I cut this in half, so I could keep dividing this into infinite halves, and I would never understand the mystery. So you cannot understand a mystery by analytically dividing it into parts. You can't understand the whole by cutting it up into parts. You can't understand a cow by being a butcher and cutting it up into steaks. Well, you have a steak, but where's the cow? So you can't understand life by cutting it up into parts with logic, with our analytical scalpel, you see. So I hold this as a mystery, as a diamond in my backyard that I can't open. It's a mystery I cannot, and I like it that way. I don't want to know how the squirrels cut this open. You see? That's the problem with science, you see. Science is great. It makes stuff. It controls the future, gives you air conditioning. Science is great, no problem with science. But the one thing science does is that it cannot stand a mystery. You give a scientist this, he's going to find out how it's like that. He's going to crack this nut, you see. So all the mystery of the world, all the wonder, all the questions are wiped from the face of the earth when all you have is science. Everything is known. Given enough time, the scientist says, you can know everything. Given enough time, you can make another human being. Given enough time, you can create the mind. Given enough time, you can be God. All you need is a little more time. But it's possible to know everything. It's possible to eliminate every mystery from the universe, you see. Wipe it clean. Make it flat. Make it dull. Make it empty. Make it devoid of mystery and wonder and the question, who am I? Can I divide myself to find me? Can I slice me up into little pieces to find out who I am? Can you find out who you are through your analysis, through your scalpel, through slicing and dicing? Or do you remain a mystery, not only to yourself, but to others? When I went out and lurched because of my vertigo, I'm sure people saw that. Oh, he's drunk. No mystery there. Thanks for dropping in. Find your walnut tree. Find the walnuts in your backyard. Find the mystery in your life. It's all around. Your spouse is a mystery. Your pets are a mystery. Everything's a mystery. As long as you don't slice it up into the known, you see, because the known is past. The known is just what you got in your memory, in your storehouse. But the mystery is living. The mystery is now. The mystery is here. So that's your walnut tree. Thanks for dropping in.